Hello there, my name is Richie. I am the founder of Okia Surfing, and today I have something really special prepared for you guys. This is the teaching system that Okia Surfing uses to make sure that everybody learns really quickly how to surf. To make surfing second nature, you gotta have a learning system or a teaching system. This is the outline and the layout that we use. This is part of a series that we call Super Learning Systems. Why Super Learning? Because it's really fast, right? If you wanna save time, if you want to save resources, if you want to make the most of your sessions, then you can use this layout. Make the most of just learning in general from whoever. Like, it doesn't have to be me, it can be from whoever. Then you can apply this system. It's a process. It's a like 5-step process. And the first step of the learning cycle system, which is a system that is meant to shorten the path of learning and applying in the ocean, the first step is understanding the right technique. Right? What does it mean? So, like, for example, a dog dive. Let's think about a dog dive. If you go out there without any knowledge on how to do a dog dive, and then you think that you're gonna learn really quickly how to dog dive by just going out there and trying trial and error, if you take on that path of trial and error, which is a lot of surfers, like, they have a lot of ego, like, even at the beginning. And then, like, that's a mistake that I made. I tried to go out and just learn it by myself, and then I thought that the style was going to develop on its own. But without technique, there's no style. Style is an interpretation of technique. So in order for you to develop a really good style or learn quickly, then first you gotta know what's the process in which how to dog dive, for example. What is the process? Well, you go to a YouTube video, you go take an explanation, you go take a little class, right? Then you make up a process in your mind instead of just going and then do trial and error at the beach. Then you can learn the steps and then shorten the path so much. So, like, never take the trial and error phase, because that's like the worst. Like, if you're trying to learn how to surf fast, there's so many sources of information. Okia surfing is meant to be one of those, and then this is something that inspire us a lot, basically. So understanding the right technique is the first step. So, like, what are the steps on how to dog dive, or like what's the most important steps on how to pop up? Don't go and try to figure out on your own. If you don't have a layout and if you don't have knowledge in your head, then you're not going to be able to apply it. There's no muscle memory, there's no automatic movement. Surfing is something, it's a sport that you need automatic reactions really fast. It's like split of a second action. And then the base of a neural pathway is understanding and then knowing. A neural pathway is like a way that our body uses. It's like a process that our body uses to do something. If there's no layout, then you're just like basically lost, right? What is the second thing? So, for example, the first thing that I'm going to tell you about this process is that you need to take on just one thing at a time, basically. So you need to take one concept and then like move it through down this like waterfall of the process. Basically, you need to take one concept and then just like let it just flush through the whole process. Let it just like follow the whole process right there. So, like, let's just pick a concept that's really simple, that's a fundamental concept for professional surfers and beginner surfers. Like, a fundamental concept, the definition of a fundamental concept is something that helps both beginners and professionals, something that cannot be missed. Very famous quote, surfer with a good foundation is a good surfer. Let's just take a fundamental concept here. Let's talk about foot positioning. Foot positioning is a fundamental concept because it's the base that connects you to the board. And then this is just an example to explain the layout of the learning cycle, right? So, like, what is gonna be the concept in here? We're gonna talk about like having both feet on the center of the line, right, on the center of the stringer, and then in a specific angle. So, like, this one a little bit open, and then this one 90, like, comparison with the stringer. Now, this is a concept that's really important for both professional surfers and beginner surfers. Like, on the first lesson, you're supposed to learn this, basically, this layout. Why? Because your balance completely depends on the position of your feet on the board. Surfing is so different. Like, it's not the same as snowboarding. Snowboarding, you have straps, and then, like, if you rent a board, and you're gonna get a specific angle that they're gonna give to you. But surfing, we don't have straps, so we gotta learn how to position our feet right from the start, like that. So, like, what is the correct position of the feet on the board right from the start? Well, first of all, you wanna have them like with the stringer crossing in between them, like in the middle, and then here, then you're gonna have a little bit of an open angle, 35 to 45 degree, angle, and then like in this, we're gonna have like an angle of 90 compared to the stringer, right? If you have that position and angle of your feet, so if they're in the center, that center of the board, and then they're on that angle, then you're gonna feel like super balanced on the board, right? You're gonna feel super balanced on the board. You're gonna stand up and you're gonna feel like you're standing on the ground. So there's not such thing as someone that has cat-like reflexes, and that's the reason why they surf really good. It's because of they land in the right place in the board that they can do that. So like, yeah, let's say that this is the angle. Now imagine trying to learn how to surf without knowing this specific thing. If this is the difference in between falling or not falling, right? Then if you skip this process of understanding what you're doing, then you're gonna fail, basically. And that's with everything. But we're gonna take down this on the pipeline. So like, what enhances the ability of learning of a human is like watching successful surfers popping up and landing in this specific angle. So like the second step is just watching someone perform the technique successfully. So if we take this concept, both feet on the center of the board, 35 and 90, and then like we watch, let's say, the greatest of all time, Kelly Slater, popping up basically, and then landing with this specific angle and like position, then that's just gonna reinforce the knowledge that you just acquire, like through understanding the process basically. So watching videos is a great part. Demonstration. So like in Okia surfing, every single workshop that we do, every single class, every single retreat, every single like whatever that we're gonna do, we're gonna go through this process, and then not only we're gonna explain the steps, but we're gonna show you the best surfers and the most successful surfers applying the correct technique. If you see the pop of a Kelly Slater and you see them landing, you see a few surfers, it often like helps like watching a few surfers that do the same thing successfully. Let's say Kelly, Andy, Tashboro. You watch them popping up with the same angle, and then you're like, okay, well, that's important. The reason why surfers are balanced once they stand up on the board is because they're consistent in landing in this specific angle right here, right? And then so like this helps me demonstrate the technique. Not only I have to like understand it, but I have to demonstrate it using the best surfers in the world, and then that's just gonna help you, get that knowledge and that neural pathway formed deeper, right? Now, let's go to the next step. Now, making the movement automatic, right? This is the next step of the learning cycle. So like, not only I show you the technique, I show you the professional surfer or the successful surfer doing it, and then now, how do I make that happen automatically? Let's just talk about muscle memory. That's a word that I really love, because like muscle memory, I don't think that your muscles have a brain. They don't have a brain. They don't remember stuff. Everything happens here. Neural pathway is a process that we use subconsciously to do something. Now, if it's something that this is something that I really like. This is something that's really cool, and this is one of the big parts of the super learning system. How do we make things happen automatically? You gotta make the movements go subconscious. So like, there's two parts of the brain basically. There's prefrontal cortex, 5% of the brain, and then there's the 95%. 95%, right? This 95 right here, that's the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is the automatic part of the brain. Habit mind. That habit mind only learns by repetition. So for example, repetition, well, one of the ways that it learns, and then this is something that's really cool, one of the ways that the subconscious mind learns is repetition. So I'm going to give you other examples. Like for example, a habit takes 21 days, right? Like, that means that you're gonna have to repeat that process certain amount of times in order to make that neural pathway fire automatically, because this is the part of the brain that needs to be surfing. The part of the brain that needs to be surfing is the 95% of the brain. That's where the knowledge needs to go, right? Right now I'm explaining something to you, and that doesn't mean that you're going to be able to apply it. You got to teach it to this part of the brain, and then the communication in between these two is limited. Why? Because in here, you have your programs for breathing, You have your programs for, your body functions. You got your programs for walking. So this part in here is protected. Reason why there's some professional surfers that cannot even explain what they do, because the movements are subconscious and they learn it at an age that the brain, it was on a different brain wave, called theta, from 1 to 7. If you learn things for 1 to 7, then that's your program. And then once you change from like theta to alpha and beta, basically, you're like in a different brainwave state and you're disconnected from this part. And then like it takes repetition, it takes other cool techniques that we're gonna teach in the Super Learning Systems program, basically. So it's not only repetition, you know. Yeah, well, I'm gonna give you a hint. Then the other one is theta. You gotta go into that brainwave state in order to just get information. So like it's repetition, theta. There's energy psychology techniques. So you're looking at, like, I'm gonna explain this to you, and this is something that we do, and this is something that we're really proud of. It's a really holistic part. How do we communicate with the automatic part of the brain? This is a really common one, repetition. But then what if there's ways to make that path shorter? Right? So that's something that we do that's really cool, right? You gotta make those movements automatic. You gotta have the 95% of the brain surfing for you. You cannot, like, think that if you're gonna surf consciously, if you're gonna like think when you're on the wave, then you're gonna look like a lagging computer, and then you're gonna look like a robot, basically. So it's either muscle memory or robot, basically. So we give you the tools, to make movements automatic, and then to make things like to create neural pathways, basically. This is how you create a neural pathway, a process in which you do things subconsciously without thinking. That's what a neural pathway is, basically. Once you use one of the techniques, like repetition on the skateboard, like in this case, let's say pop-ups, right? You do so many pop-ups and then you always aim for this, right? But then again, like, you cannot just go to the beach and do pop-ups and expect to have a neural pathway if there's no knowledge that is going to back up that. That is one of the most important, beautiful things about this. If there's no knowledge backing up that, then just like, how is it that you're going to take a road? It's just like trying to draw a map somewhere in a blank sheet of paper. You need, like the base and then like the buildings and stuff in order for the map to take you somewhere. You need to understand the technique first. Once you did an effort to create some neural pathways, or like how, like I used to call it muscle memory, then you go in the ocean and then you use filming, right? Filming is like one of the most important parts, like in order to create awareness of body movements, right? So like this is the thing, like whenever you see somebody improving and then they're trying to surf the whole year, they never take a video, and then when they go with the coach, takes a video, and he's like, oh my god, this was such a good learning experience, right? What did the coach do? It just like showed it to you and it broke it down. But then like you can do it yourself. You don't need me for that. You don't need anyone for that. You can do that yourself. In order to improve, you need to make sure that you're getting film as much as possible. Like that's like, it's an investment, but then like again, if you love the sport as much as I do, then you just need to implement that. So like trying to learn the movement, it takes on video, like video analysis, watching. But then like again, we're going like trying to get that foot positioning down this pipeline. In here you created muscle memory, and then in here you are just gonna analyze one thing about the video. Very important detail. So it's not only like in here you have the video taken, and then in here, last part, analyze the video and compare to the technique. This is where everybody gets frustrated. You need to have one concept at a time that you're learning, basically. Biggest tip that I can give you: don't like overdo. Just learn one thing at a time. If you're learning how to place your feet on the board, just focus on that and then forget about everything else. If you wipe out every single wave, but you manage to do it twice in a session, you get it on video, and then you compare that to a professional surfer, and then you get the same angle, voila. And that's I'm sorry for that word, and then you learn, basically. You go through that cycle a couple times. with the same concept. Go out there 3 times. Guarantee you're gonna shorten the ride, to learn. This is the outline that we use on our workshops. Our workshop is demonstration, give you the tools to make movement automatic. Not only repetition, cooler tools right here. How does the subconscious mind acquire knowledge? That's the question that you gotta ask. And how can you teach things to that subconscious part of the brain? Then the third part is getting that on film so you can see, my feet fell, my feet landed somewhere different. Sorry, fell, I use fell, but in reality we use kind of land and fell, in Spanish is different. So but the thing is that then you analyze the video and then you compare, basically. Wow, I did a lot of drawings here, but this is the learning cycle system, and it's like a guideline that I use. I don't just go out there and then teach a session just like that. So if I'm going to teach something technical, I go through a process of steps with every single person. And then that's one of the reasons why I have been so successful in teaching any surfer how to surf really fast. First, not only the techniques, not only the biomechanics. I know that the brand's called Kia Surfing Biomechanics. Forget about that. We have a learning system process. Basically, we have the super learning systems on our side, which helps you learn really fast. That's what I want for you to learn really fast. So this is the learning cycle system, part of the super learning systems at Kia Surfing. I hope you like the video. Follow, subscribe, and I see you on the next one.